What do you think about that? This great design and that's why it happened? Well, it doesn't go well for him because then, you know, Phoebe's not happy, Julie's not happy, but she's and so, they were together. Sour grapes. So, well, hers, doing mine up first, didn't. And the thing he's under 9 is like we'll talk about more in another room is to build up this and see. As long as I make a decision, we're not going to 9 and you think, she doesn't want to do it. She guys like, yeah. She Cedric said his friends on the table don't really know about this one. And I think that's on the street of it. So, she did. So in 1919, when Mom dies, she gets to go to Miss Rogan, and she doesn't want to work with him. The baby's not. And she's.
So, if we look east, you'll see the smallest of those houses, Casa del Monte, House of the Mountain.
So remember, it was just going to be a little 2-bedroom bungalow when he took it.
The 8 bedrooms wasn't enough.
So this is Casa Grande, the big house.
10 big rooms here. Is it 8, 10 here?
115 rooms.
115 rooms here.
38 bedrooms, and those are finished. There's a number of rooms that aren't finished. Hurst has a heart condition. He has to leave the hill in 47, so not everything's done. So the 68,500 is only finished square feet as well as the 115 rooms are the finished rooms. There's some unfinished ones. So you see the front of the house has got the limestone facing. If you look at the north wing, it's different. Yeah. So that's really not finished as Hurst wanted it.
Oh, he wanted the whole thing to be.
Yeah. So let's just run through it quickly. We've got the 16th century modified convent gate as the front door. Then with the either side of that, you've got the 15th century Spanish wildwood. Above the door, you've got the Duke of Burgundy riding. That's a 15th century French piece. Above the Duke is the 13th century Madonna and Child. You've got the Tondos of Peter and Paul. Everything else you see there. Julie Morgan uses concrete and steel, and her craftsmen do those spires. It's called platterwork today, maybe precast concrete, but it gives you an idea. So if you don't think you have fun, look at the cherubs holding up the library, and they're just having a grand time.
Those arms look there, yeah.
We're going to see the teakwood cornice. We're going to be up the 3-tiered deck. There is a 16th century Spanish deck at his
is it wood?
floor, and we're going to actually go in the room to the left, below the bells. So that's his little house on the hill.
Little
Remember,
house.
Mom said maybe he'll get carried away.
113 комнат.
Did he care about these things, or was
They like cars. So again, this is just a quick look. Another sarcophagus. Are you ready to go inside?
Yeah.
1926, first time you'd have been able to go where we're going. First, originally starts with this just going to be a little 2-bedroom, no, 2-story, and then goes to 3, and then it goes to 4. So we're headed up to the Doge's suite, which was ready 1926.
And so that top cornice is wood?
Teakwood.
Teakwood. Oh, how can they take care about the teak oil or varnish or what?
The biggest problem is the woodpeckers.
Woodpeckers? Oh yeah, they eat it?
Yeah.
Oh my
So
god.
they're constantly involved in restoration of it.
Жуки едят тик.
Teak is remarkably weather resistant, but the birds are quite persistent.
Куда мы пришли? Ага. Wow.
So this is what they call the Doge's suite.
Doges.
And the suites have a formula. This would be the man's room. Then there's a common sitting room.
Uh-huh.
And then there's the ladies' room.
Oh.
The elite of that day didn't always stay together in the same room. The other thing is maybe you wanted to see Jack Warner Brothers, or Louis P. Mayer of MGM Films, see if you could get a movie contract. So he has a meeting place where you can invite them up, so you can see if you can negotiate something with them.
Oh.
Or one of the other guys.
It sounds
Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
this is the carpet we want you to walk in. So Hearst has 40 antique ceilings in the house. If you look up, you see an 18th century Italian ceiling. And what's unique is none of those ceilings were purchased to fit the room. So his craftsmen made what they called extensions, most of it out of plaster casts, and painted them to match the rest of the ceiling. Now I had a man earlier this year from London whose job it was to restore old buildings in London. And he said the craftsman work here is just extraordinary in terms of what they have. Again, Julie Morgan arranged that.
Wow.
You're going to see as we go through, Hearst is going to have an interesting relationship with the Catholic Church. You've got the 16th century sacristy door. That's where the priests would have prepared for service behind that, then gone onto the platform. And now it's the bathroom door. So it has a different role here. The 17th century Spanish altarpiece. Again, somebody high in the Catholic Church, you can tell by the tassels, has that. And would have been special occasions. And actually his mom shows that piece in the 1917 World Fair in San Francisco. Then the 16th century Spanish bed, which the engraved initials were from the original couple who had it made, so we don't know who they are or what it really stands for. Hearst was made fun of by many of his early art collecting friends because he's got these 16th and 17th century hand-carved walnut chests. And he was said a real art collector doesn't collect furniture. Well, if you look at these hand-carved pieces, these are actually different ways men can kill each other in war, carved into the outside here. It's remarkable, and they say now Hearst has done us a great favor because he saved a lot of furniture that would have been lost during World War II. Now, to tell the difference between the Spanish pieces and Italian, if you look down at the feet, anything that's carved, you see the head, you might see lines, paws, lines, head. That's going to indicate that it's Italian. If you come over here, and again, you look at this, again, 16th century piece, hand-carved walnut. You said it has a more conventional way it sits on the floor. That's going to be Spanish, and the Spanish also use more metal. So if you looked at that piece in the corner, it would be
Italian.
Yes, it is. You get an A. We can proceed with the tour.
I didn't know that. That's a really good tip.
Fire to put smoke in the room. Hearst isn't big on that.
Oh, really?
I know you.
Hey,
Last time I saw you, you were going to help me. Now you're pushing me.
are you upstairs or?
I am.
Okay.
Aren't you upstairs?
Yeah,
How many do you have?
I've got 8.
Well, you got more than I did. How did you rate? I got the cool people on. So the interesting part, this is the Doja Suite. If you turn around and look out over the terrace, these are 15th century columns from Venice. And they match pretty much what's on the second floor of the Doge's palace. And Hearst has been there, so he calls it the Doja Suite. These pieces too are also imported. So these arches are 17th century arches, so it's not just art, but he's bringing architectural pieces. The ceiling is from the collection of Stanford White, architect in New York, does Madison Square Garden, the New York and Boston libraries, Grand Central Station. And he's murdered in 1906 by the jealous husband of his mistress. And so Hearst buys this from the estate, his estate in 1907, and as you can imagine, Hearst doesn't buy it to fit the room. He likes it, and so he's got the extensions on the outside. And then I like to talk about these Urbano 17th century Italian pieces. And if you see the piece in the middle, that's St. George going out to battle. He would have had a quill in there as a sword, because that's an inkwell.
No way.
So you look at the 18th century Italian inkwell on the table. What Hearst would have is often his guests would visit, and they'd go home and people would not believe that they told their friends and family they were here. So he had stationery, so La Costa Encantada, the Enchanted Hill, Sin City. So you could write a letter home here and prove that you were here.
Pre-Instagram.
Yep.
Wow. Wait, so the fireplace is... I only asked him because I was just...
So these aren't on, but I think as we go down, you'll see the resistor coil heaters on the other side. He's originally thinking fireplaces, but he doesn't like smoke in the house. So he goes to the electric.
Some electricity here. Outlet. Oh, is it top? Huh?
Top of the floor
Wow.
shows Julie Morgan's craftsman work. You go from antique ceilings now to concrete molded ceilings, gold gilded, polychrome, painted in a 14th century French fireplace mantel. So Mr. Hearst, when he raises the rooms above the bell towers, he's got to have that formula: bedroom, sitting room, bedroom. So Miss Morgan has to figure out how to put this sitting room in with different orientations and elevations and an existing fireplace chimney. So she does that. But this becomes one of the favorite places for people to stay. In fact, if you wanted to stay in the Celestial, you had to be a friend or a family member. So come on into it. Hedda Hopper told me too about.
Hedda Hopper, a movie star.
Gossip Collar. Good friend of Mary Davis. Come on in.
No.
So you can see the electric heaters here again as you come in on the sides.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
See, I would have thought he would have slept someplace like this.
Yeah.
This is so beautiful.
Sunny room.
It is beautiful, and they're the only rooms where you can see the sunrise in the east over the Santa Lucia Mountains, and then the sunset in the west over the Pacific. You've got the three corner decks where you have enjoyed the views, could let in the ocean breezes. What's unique about this room, there's 2,500 gallons of water above us. There's 3 springs in the high country. They run pipes down. So it's all gravity fed. So imagine in 2003 at that 6.5 earthquake, that water stays at home. So you know that Julie Morgan designed it well to keep 2,500 gallons. Somebody computed that at 8 pounds a gallon. I'm not sure what the weight of that is, but there's a lot of weight up there. I think somebody said it's close to 8 tons.
Well, that room is most happy.
Right.
Well, and you had to be a friend, family member, or somebody Mr. Hearst wanted to impress to stay here. One of the people we know who stayed here who didn't like it was a man named Melmans. He was the writer of the children's series Madeline. Hearst wanted him to write for syndicated newspapers. And he complained because he said there's no closet, you had to hang your clothes from the chandelier. And as you'll notice as we head down, the bathroom is a terribly inconvenient 8 steps away. And he just thought that was miserable.
The size, twin,
Excuse me?
double size bed.
It's probably what we call a full-size bed today.
Full size.
Yeah. So I usually ask my guests, you know, if you had a chance to stay up here and you knew there wasn't a closet, you had to go down the stairs for the bedroom, what do you think? Could you handle it?
Yeah, I could fold my clothes. and put
You,
them in
you,
the
you
drawer.
could take care of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
Wow, this one's great. This is the first room that's like, ooh, I want to be.
Well, people often ask me if I could stay in a room, where would I stay? And this I would agree, this would be the place to go. So Hearst, he has a unique style, putting things together. In 1928, he wants to put in now an elevator. And so Julie Morgan has to take an existing stairway and put an elevator shaft, an early one-person Otis elevator. So as we head down, you're going to encounter that Otis elevator shaft.
Really?
Yeah. Do you have any other questions?
No.
Good. Good-natured lady. To constantly undo her own work.
Well, not all the crap. Adding tile and tearing out, relaying it. So this is that terribly inconvenient restroom, and you're welcome to take a peek of how awful that really was. I can see you're impressed with its awfulness.
Yes. Hard no on that.
And then here's our elevator shaft.
Oh, this is?
Yeah.
Oh.
On your right shoulder.
Was it a round elevator? Or did they just paint it square inside?
Well, it's the shaft is round. We'll take a look at it's probably at the library level. But even from the beginning, it was a little persnickety. So Grace Coolidge, Kevin Coolidge's wife, was stuck in there for 3 years. There you go. You can see they've got the 16th century choir stalls
Oh, that's
lining
really
the.
cool. Wow.
Yeah. So,
16 века внутренности в элеваторе.
just swing that door closed as you come out, if you will. Thank you. Now, William Randolph Hearst is a little advanced for his time. He puts out an order when they're building the hilltop that no mature trees to be cut down. You imagine a project like this today, they would take bulldozers, they just flatten everything. But take this oak tree, it's one of 6 that he actually moves. They dig around it, they put a concrete wall around it, and they move it about 20 yards to try and protect it. Because Hearst says you just can't put 100 years on a tree. So he understood that. Here's the teak wood, if you're interested in that cornice, the best look, carved in San Francisco. Brought here in 6 and 8 foot lengths and installed. This is your best shot to get a picture of that. And you are absolutely correct. Hearst wanted the other side to be open like this, and his construction foreman always wanted to enclose this, to put windows here.